Hello, I am in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and in the very first place I want to thank the organizers of the conference that allow me through technology to take place, although I am so far away. As you see here, it's winter and you are in a warm weather for sure. I was born here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. My parents both arrived after the war. They both are Auschwitz survivors. They arrived as refugees in clandestinity. My mother is Hungarian. My father is Polish. They met after the war. And when they arrived in Argentina, in Perón's time, they made all the effort for us to be really, be my sister and me, really Argentinians. So they spoke to us in Spanish, and between them they spoke bad German, but at home German was the language between them, never with us. But culture and everything what was said, they wanted to say, and what they did not want to tell us, everything was by the same time transmitted. And I always felt very concerned by being embraced by numbered arms. I remember once I asked my mother, "But why do you have that on your arm?" And she answered, "Not to forget." My mother and my father transmitted very different feelings through about their homelands. My father didn't want to remember that he was Polish. He, yes, wanted us to know everything about Holocaust, and he talked a lot, but he didn't want to be recognized as a Polish. He wanted to be Argentinian. And my mother also, she got the Argentinian identity, but she transmitted a kind of nostalgia for Hungary, for the culture of Hungarian country. Not she didn't like the people or what happened, but yes, the country, the culture, the music, and the embroidery. Our daily life was full with embroidery. And this was a big influence, an aesthetic influence in my art, in my life. And I also think that perhaps I am an artist because I was raised without old things. At home we didn't have things that belonged to anyone else before us, nor photos. Also, we didn't have photos. They came to Argentina with nothing. So I received the very strong feeling about tattoos, numbered tattoos. I was always very concerned, is the word, with that. But at the same time, simultaneously, a great joy for embroidery. And both things were made with the same tool, with the needle. So, in the video that you have seen, I want to raise a question, a metaphor between these two very different feelings. On one hand, the horror for tattooing, the numbers, and I know, of course, that tattoos nowadays have a very different meaning as an ornamental resource, but I cannot avoid this feeling in me. And on the other hand, I was saying the joy of embroidery. So, I want to note that tattooing for Jewish people in the concentration camps was 3 times a profanation. One, the profanation of the body. It's very different to receive a tattoo or to decide that you want to have a tattoo. Afterwards, a profanation of identity, the name. That person that was not called anymore for his name, but of his or her name, but for his or her number. And also a profanation of religious precepts. In Leviticus 19, chapter 28, tattooing is specifically forbidden. This video talks about transmission from woman to woman. And the video has 4 stages. I wanted to make a video as I grew up. First with the feeling and only afterwards the understanding. I'm still trying to understand. Okay, so in the first stage, the video, the camera takes the image as if I was inside the body while the needle was entering. But you don't understand what is happening. In the second stage, in the second scenario, the video reflects my father's name, Arek, as we called him, with the thread that when throw the thread, it comes like a scar. The third stage of the video appears the number mixed with the embroidery in the same horizontally, in the same level, everything with the blue dots with what the tattoos were made. And only in the 4th stage of the video you understand what is happening. And you can see my mother giving the thread to my niece. I have 2 boys, that's why my niece was included. And at the back, you can see me piercing, going across the flesh, the body of my own work with the needle, embroidering with black thread. The image that appears in the video, in the work of mine that I am going with the needle, is an image of Hungarian typical flowers, from the colors to the black and from the black to Buenos Aires. Always Buenos Aires is in my work because I want to transmit this mixture of multiple identities that I am. So I included also some images in this DVD to show you, where you can see the palm of my hand, first with the flowers, with Hungarian flowers, embroidered with my palm of hand, my identity as the map of life. On the second work, the same image of my hand, but with my mother's tattooed embroidered, the number that my mother has on her arm. And the third image, it's called the line of heart. It's this one, but the obelisk that we have in Buenos Aires as a typical icon of Buenos Aires appears in my hand. So, thank you so much for your attention, and with a mate, regards from Buenos Aires. Bye-bye. Thank you.